hello, I'm a foreign language. Am I too close to the Yes, all right. I'm a foreign language teacher. This is a Spanish class, Spanish 1. Foreign language classes are basically unlike any other class that you've ever had before. Why? Because it's every subject in one. We let you do some crazy things sometimes, we let you do some fun things, we let you do some boring things. Some of our students are fun, some of them are boring. However, let's show you some of the activities that we do. Oh, by the way, learning a foreign language is like learning a musical instrument. You have to practice every single day in order to really get it. And some people say, well, Spanish, the easiest language that foreign language there is. Spanish is so easy. It's a lie. It's not easy. It's probably just as difficult as French, just as difficult as German. So don't come into my class or our classes expecting Spanish to be some easy breeze class. Because it isn't, right, Mazaluski? These are our friendly Spanish students. They're very nice. Excelente. Vamos. This is one of the activities that we usually do in class, and I'll get out of the way so you can see the students. Here we go. It's called TPR. Viajar. Tren. Avión. Hablar. That's called TPI, total physical response. We also do skits in this class, in front of the class. A lot of students get used to that. A lot of people don't like getting up in front of the class, but we usually do skits to teach you real language use. Basically, all the foreign language classes are set up the same way, whether you take Spanish, German, or French. Don't be convinced that one language is easier than another, because that's not true. That's a myth. And you take the language because you want to take that language, either because it's part of your family heritage or because you have interest in pursuing a future job, profession using that language. But don't take it just because someone tells you, oh, that's my friends are in this class or my friends in that. You don't take a language because your friends are in the class. You take a language because either you're going to do that for the rest of your life, it's part of your family heritage. If you're French Canadian, you want to learn French, take French. German American, you want to learn German because it's part of your heritage. You want to get into medicine, German is a good language to take. Something that you see as helping you in life, not something that's going to be simply a breeze course. Okay? Adios. Gracias. Take Spanish. It's easy. We have the highest attrition rate of any language. That means we have the highest number of students who drop out. You're not recording still, are you?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not anymore.
Le garçon là-bas, il sait pas comment. Le garçon là-bas, il sait pas comment. Là-bas, le garçon là-bas. Voilà. Bonjour, je m'appelle Madame Cartier, je suis professeure de français. Voici une classe de français 1. Ah, oui, voilà, Sylvain. Le garçon là-bas, il s'appelle Sylvain. Sylvain, c'est super la classe de français?
Oh, oui.
Ah, oui, 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 oui. Alors, I'm Mrs. Carter. This is a French 1 class. I teach French 1, French 2, French 3, et quelquefois Français 4. Now, these people have been in class since September. It's, what, 5 months? And they understand a lot of French. Et quand j'ai demandé à Monsieur Sylvain, Sylvain, tu aimes la classe de français? Il dit, oui, madame, c'est super, oui?
Oui.
Oui. Tu aimes la classe de français, Camille? Oui. Oui, oh, oui, c'est super. One of the things I need to tell you about French class, or any foreign language class, is how important it is to be in the class all the time. Yeah, of course, one of the jokes we say is never get sick when you're taking a foreign language, but I guess that's a little unrealistic. If you do get ill and you have to be out more than a day, you really should be sure to telephone someone that you know in the class to get the homework, or at least have someone call and ask for homework at home. If you miss, I would say probably this is a kind of a class where you really learn something new just about every day. We just learned a new verb. Oui, Charles, the verb. What did that verb mean, Charles? Siffloter, to whistle. So there's one example of a verb you just learned now, siffloter. The other two things I need to mention to you is that we do have an exchange program here at Timberlane. It's called NACEL, which means North American Cultural Exchange League. And it's a program where you may do one of two things or both. You may have a student come live with you for a month during the summer. The French student would be here to practice English. And you do have your choice of months, July or August. You have fill out a fairly extensive questionnaire. If that does interest you, you would let me know that. The other possibility, which is extremely popular with the students who take advanced French, is to go to live with a family in France for a month during the summer. And that, of course, is the ultimate challenge of whether or not you've learned your language, because you have to live over in France speaking French at all times. Il faut maintenant une petite activité avec la classe de français. Nous faisons le négatif et aussi on va pratiquer si on aime ou on n'aime pas la classe de français. Les étudiants ici vont parler français. Et Monsieur Christophe, tu aimes la classe de français? Oui?
J'aime
La classe?
classe de français.
Tu aimes le professeur?
Oui.
Oui. Tu aimes la classe de français, Armand?
Oui, j'aime classe de français.
Oui, j'aime la classe de français. Et voilà, si j'ai le petit Orceline ici, et quelquefois j'ai eu une opportunité, nous n'avons pas eu une opportunité à pratiquer. I was going to do this with the class after we just finish our homework, but let's see what happens. If I throw this to Céline, she catches that. Will you, Céline? And I am going to give you a verb. And the verb is pêcher. Négatif, je. Oui, sandwich. Je ne pêche. And the sandwich. Je ne pêche pas. Oui, très bien, très bien. Je ne pêche pas. Ah, Alexandre. Le verbe est danser. Il. Négatif. Il ne danse pas. Tu danses, Armand? Non. Oh, non,
Je ne danse pas.
je ne danse pas. Oh, Armand ne danse pas. Armand ne danse. Mais, Monsieur Robert, tu danses? Répétez, s'il vous plaît.
Pourquoi?
Quelquefois, Robert danse. Robert est très chic là-bas, très chic. Ah, Jean-Daniel. Le verbe regarder, regarder. Nous, négatif.
Nous ne regardons pas.
Nous ne regardons pas. Maintenant, Monsieur Armand, vous jetez la petite Orceline à quelqu'un dans la classe. Vous, jetez.
Vous ne regardez pas.
Oui, vous ne regardez pas. Et non, maintenant. Uh-oh, Camille again. Encore Camille. Camille, le sujet est beau et le verbe... Oh non, c'est vrai. Répétez, classe. La classe de français?
C'est le bar.
C'est le bar! Oh! La classe de français, c'est...
Super.
Super, oui, c'est très... Le professeur est super aussi. Oh, et Sylvain! Wow, Mr. Sylvain. Language class can be a lot of fun as long as you keep up with the class every day. You get far behind, and it does get to be a problem. That includes homework, being here every day, but take advantage of what we're doing here every day. Make sure you learn something new every day. Voilà, au revoir. Merci. Mademoiselle Patricia, marcher to negative.
Hi, my name is Senora Allen, and I'm a Spanish teacher at the high school. I teach Spanish 1, Spanish 2, and Spanish 4. I wanted to talk about participation a little bit in homework because questions. Start over. Hola, my name is Senora Allen, and I'm a teacher at Timberlane, a Spanish teacher. I teach Spanish 1, Spanish 2, and Spanish 4. One question that freshmen often ask me is, will I be able to speak Spanish at the end of Spanish 1 or Spanish 2 or Spanish 4? And the answer to the question would be that you need to practice in class, participate in class, like my class is doing right now. They're reading in here. If you practice at home by doing your homework and speak as much as possible in class, you'll have no problems speaking Spanish at the end of Spanish 1 or even Spanish 4. As you can see, my class is working right now. I'm reading a story in Spanish, and sí.
Do we do the preguntas on top?
¿Cómo? ¿Cómo?
As I know, las preguntas arriba tomando.
No las preguntas de arriba, pero las preguntas aquí, detrás de la página de 21.
Piensa debería la.
Sí, empieza después del cuento. ¿Ok?
Good morning. My name is Mr. Madsen. I'm the German teacher here at Timberlane Regional High School. I teach 6 courses in German, 4 levels, so all 4 years, freshman through senior year. That includes 2 accelerated and 2 CCP levels and 2 upper level accelerated classes. Mademoiselle Hodgkins, our department head, has asked me this morning to talk to you a little bit about the importance of homework and practice in the foreign language outside of the classroom. And I just have a few notes, so I'm going to be reading, excuse me if I'm reading off my notes here. I'd like to start off this morning by telling you if you've ever heard of the Latin quote, quid pro quo. Quid pro quo in Latin means nothing from nothing gets nothing. You get out of a foreign language course exactly what you put into it. In other words, if you sit in class 46 minutes a day, 5 days a week, you may acquire some language ability, but you will not acquire fluency, which raises another question: what is fluency? Fluency is a relative term. It's an individual experience. Foreign language learning is an individual experience. It's an individual choice. If you do not practice the language outside of class, you will not develop fluency. So, for example, after 4 years of German, if you're not practicing the language outside of class, you might be able to go to Germany and order a pizza. You might be able to read some basic literature in a magazine, but you're not going to be able to hold really complex conversations or be prepared to live in Germany. Now, one way you could do to develop fluency, it's just my theory, I call it the mirror mall travel phone theory. And what that is, and it sounds kind of crazy, but the mirror mall travel theory is, by mirror I mean, one way you could do your homework is talk to yourself in the target language, in this case German, at home. Talk to yourself in the mirror if you're shaving, if you're a guy, maybe sing in the shower, something like that. Sounds crazy, but it works. Another way you could do it, say you're learning about clothes in German or Spanish or French. Go to the Salem Mall, go into the Gap, and then try and conduct the entire transaction in the target language. And any gaps that you find, that's where you would go back, look up the words, vocabulary, and fill in the gaps that way. Foreign travel, I'll be talking to you a little bit in just a minute about our German-American Partnership Program. We also have a Spain trip every other year and a French trip every other year, so there's the opportunity to travel for our language department is there. So taking advantage of foreign language travel, going to the actual country of the language, or the target language you're learning, is very, very important because you're in with the natives, you hear how they speak, you're surrounded by it, you're inundated by the culture. It's certainly a way to develop fluency in the language. And finally, phone. The last theory I have for foreign language practice for homework is normally you're assigned a homework partner. Call your partner up on the phone and blah, blah, blah at them in German, French, or Spanish. Practice with a peer. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the phone. It could be in a study hall. Could be in the hallway. Could be in the cafeteria at lunch. Okay? There's a variety of ways to practice the language. But the important thing is to practice the language outside of class. Now I'm moving on to the next thing I need to talk to you, and that's about our German-American Partnership Program. We're in our 11th year of the exchange. And each year in May, the German students come over. We have a sister city called Weinstadt. Our sister school is the Reinhold Nagel Realschule, which is a 5th through 10th grade school. It's kind of like if you smashed a senior high school, half of a senior high school and a middle school together. The students in the 9th class come over every year in May, and they stay in host families here in the Timberlane community. And all 11 years has been a wonderful experience. The American kids, and not necessarily German students, have hosted. This year, for example, we have a number of Spanish students who are hosting German kids. So it's a across the board. Anybody in the high school can host the foreign student. But be that as it may, if you're a German student and you're hosting, again, there's another way to increase your fluency in the language by hosting a German student and having them live with you for a month. Every other year, the Americans go over. So next year, 1997, is our next exchange where I'll be accompanying, and a couple other teachers here at the high school will be accompanying a group of American students over to Weinstadt. And we'll be there 3.5 weeks. You'll live 3 weeks with a host family. And then we have a 5 to 6 day excursion. Normally we go to Munich and the Alps because that's a favorite tourist area for Americans, and it's one of the most beautiful areas of the German countryside. But for your class, being incoming freshmen, you'd be eligible at the end of your junior year to go, so that would be 1999, turn of the century, which would be an optimum time. There'll be a lot of things happening in Germany during that summer. Finally, this morning, my seniors, this is a level 4 class, and my seniors, I thought I gave them some questions, rhetorical questions, for things for consideration. And so what I thought the camera crew could do is go around, maybe ask them, maybe 1 or 2 students, some things that maybe the advice they could give you, or experiences they've had that have been positive.
In German, we learned a lot. One of the things that I remember the most is freshman year. I hosted an exchange student from Germany, and she stayed with us for a month, and I learned a lot about Germany from her. But then she came back the following summer on her own for 6 weeks, and we formed a friendship that's probably going to last a lifetime.
One good thing about learning the language is applying to college this year. Most colleges really want 3 or 4 years of language. And if you've had 4, they think that's great, and that looks really good in your transcript. So that helps a lot.
Senior chamber.
You guys ready? Almost. Lights on.
I was taping.
Hola, bienvenidos a la clase de español. Me llamo Señor Chamberlain y esta es la clase de Español 1, CCP. I just want to tell you really briefly about this class, and these guys are going to tell you a little bit about the class too. You will have an opportunity, these guys probably don't know a whole lot about this, to go to Spain. We go to Spain usually every other year, and what you need to do is you need to be in a Spanish class in order to go to Spain. We go during April vacation usually. This year we're going to both Spain and Italy. So we're going to be going to Rome and Madrid and Florence and other parts of Spain and Italy. And so that's something you might want to consider when you come up here to the high school. Usually we have Spanish 2 students that have gone in the past, Spanish 3 students, and Spanish 4 students. So as a student in Spanish 1 you cannot. And we alternate trips. Every other year we'll be going to Spain. So if we don't go next year, for example, you'll be able to go the year after. So you guys will have an opportunity to go your junior year. Okay, this year, and possibly your junior year. Okay? Now, these guys have something to say. Who has something to say?
I am.
What can you say? What is important to know today, son, in a Spanish class? Coming up here to the high school, what is important to know? What do you need to do?
You have to study a lot so you don't fail your test so you can pass, and then you'll go far behind. You don't do well in your test.
Muy bien. Sí. Look at the camera. Right. No? How important is it to speak Spanish in this class? What happens if you don't? You get a 0. You get a 64, according to some people in this class. A 50. So it's extremely important to speak Spanish in class. One other thing you guys can help these guys out coming up from middle school. No chicle, which means what? No gum. And what else? No hats. Why are you guys, how come you don't wear hats in Spanish class?
Because you won't
But
let.
it's not Spanish color allowed.
Because it's not a Spanish custom to wear hats inside of a building. Let's go to this side of the room. These guys are being really quiet over here. Delphina has a lot to say. Delphina, what else? What advice could you give an 8th grader coming up here? With regards to Spanish class. What happens to somebody who's really shy and quiet and sits in the back of the room?
You fail.
You fail. You have to be open in this class, right? You have to speak. Okay. Okay. Ahora, yo tengo varias preguntas para ustedes. ¿Quién quiere la pelota? ¿Quién quiere la pelota? Toma. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien.
¿Cómo?
Muy bien.
Excelente. Señor, ¿dónde trabajas?
Sí, trabajo.
¿Dónde trabajas?
Trabajo en el casa.
En la casa, sí, muy bien, excelente, muy bien. And you always have to pay attention in Spanish class, or strange things happen. ¿Verdad? Presta atención. Señorita, ¿qué tienes ganas de hacer?
Fuego.
¿Qué tienes ganas de hacer? ¿Hablar español? Muy bien. Ok, es todo. Cuando yo digo 3, adiós, ¿verdad? Adiós, cuando yo digo 3, 1, 2, 3.
Adiós.
Ok. Cierren los libros. Time for quiz.
Hola, me llamo Señora Trojan. Hi, my name is Mrs. Trojan, and this is my class taking a quiz right now. And, which is why they're being so good. Let's see, I teach Spanish. I teach high school students, and I also teach distance learning. And distance learning is where I teach students through the TV camera, or through the TV. There's a camera on me, sort of like this camera right here. And they see me through the TV, and it's interactive. And so I teach the students at Atkinson Academy, Pollard, Danville, and Sandown. In fact, some of you may have had me last year because I taught this last year also. So basically that is what I do. High school in the morning, distance learning in the afternoon. So, adios.